Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for FMT's presentation of Improving Inventory Controls in GP. My name is Lucas Darling, and I'm an account executive here at FMT, and I'm joined here by two of our preferred partners. One is Teresa Putzier, who's a senior channel sales manager at SPS Commerce, and the other is Maggie Younts, who's a sales engineer over at SalesPad. For those of you who aren't familiar with FMT, I'd like to just take a few moments to give you a brief introduction. We are a Microsoft Gold partner. We've been a Microsoft Gold partner for over 20 years and consult on a wide range of Microsoft products. We have 6 Gold competencies, as well as a Tier 1 cloud service provider. We are also preferred partners of both Dell and NetSuite. They approached us, many years back because of our expertise with NetSuite, particularly in the ERP space, and with Dell, particularly in the infrastructure side. And we've had a very fruitful relationship in the years past, and we continue to have a strategic partnership for years to come. And just some differentiators for us over here at FMT. The FMT way is really something you begin to understand once you engage and begin doing work with us. It's that combination of that talent, experience, methodology, and expertise that we're fully dedicated to the success of your company. And in addition to our offerings, we have an entire department specifically dedicated to customer support. And these are 13 full-time senior consultants who really serve you from that 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. with ongoing training included, and you're supported on all after projects once you go live and you need to iron out a bit of those kinks that are coming up. That's what the customer care team is there to do, support you and set you up for success. That, along with something else that FMT really prides ourselves on, is having extremely experienced consultants who are well-versed in all kinds of backgrounds, industry systems. So they've been there, they've been in your shoes, they understand your struggles, and they want to help you and put your company in position to succeed. And along with those, we have our full service offerings. We offer a wide array of services pertaining to ERP, CRM, SharePoint, Power BI, and even Office 365. I would like to just take a quick moment, talk about our 5 core values here. And these are something that FMT really holds true and dear to ourselves. It's not just something that we post on our wall. It's something that's included when we're recruiting and we want employees. We like to see these values in our clients as well. First is integrity. Obviously, we say what we do. We're honest, we're upfront with the work. We want to do what's best for your company. Service excellence, every client satisfied. We don't want to be that one partner that goes in, does one project and goes away. We want to have that long-lasting relationship, the 5, 10-year, 15-year relationship with our customers. Collaboration, we're one team. Like I said earlier, we offer many different offerings, ERP, CRM, Office 365, but we're one team and we work together to make your company successful. And the innovation, this is a big one. We're in the technology space, and what we want to do and our goal is to make those complex technologies simple for you and simple for you guys to use and understand. And the passion, that's probably the easiest one. We love what we do. It's the reason we come into work every day. It's the success of our clients, the smile on your guys' faces when, we go live on a project and you guys really start to reap the benefits. And now I'm going to hand it over to Maggie over at SalesPad. But before I do, if at any point during the presentation you have a question, feel free to type them into the comment box. We will be monitoring this throughout the presentation, and we'll answer them at the end. Thank you. And Maggie?
All right. Thanks, Lucas. My name is Maggie Younts. I am one of the sales engineers here at SalesPad. I'm going to give you kind of a brief background of SalesPad. SalesPad has 2 owners, Matt and Pete. Pete purchased Microsoft GP in 2002 as the accounting platform for his furniture parts distribution company. While GP is a rock-solid accounting system, Pete noticed it lacked in many of the sales and inventory, or I guess the operational ERP functions he needed to run his business. So he hired a developer, Matt, to code those features, and out of that, SalesPad was born. Out of that partnership, we have 1,200 customers and at least 13,000 users, supported by around 115 employees here at SalesPad. We sell our products to manufacturers and distributors of all shapes, industries, and sizes. This graphic is an example of how all of our SalesPad products connect to one another. This is our full SalesPad suite here. We sit within the Microsoft GP tables, which means we write back and forth in real time. So there's no need to worry about syncing or duplicating entries. And that goes for all of our products here. Most of our key features are structured around the ease of use for the everyday user. This includes built-in automation like instant PO generation, reporting tools, CRM functionality, all while highlighting some of our integrations with partners like SPS Commerce for EDI. On top of SalesPad's out-of-the-box products, we have an in-house custom development team that can help you maximize your business processes with SalesPad. Whether it's an e-commerce integration, custom mobile applications, or fully automating your daily tasks, SalesPad's custom development team can help to identify these areas and architect a solution to fit your business needs. I'm going to pass the torch over to Teresa from SPS now, where she will go into a little bit more detail about the EDI process. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. My name is Teresa Putzer, Dynamics GP Channel Manager with SPS Commerce. And one thing that Maggie is going to be demoing today is SalesPad is the integration to SPS's Commerce solution. Now, both SalesPad and SPS are veterans in the GP space. We both have over 10 years of experience and 1,000 GP clients. Strategically, we've been working together since 2014, so we joined a partnership, and we have multiple shared clients, as well as we've published a number of EDI documents together. So what SPS is we are the largest retail industry network. Sorry, I'm trying to get this slide to advance here. I have a little bit of a delay. So this is our network here. So we operate the largest retail network with pre-wire connections to our retailers, 3PLs, carriers, distributors, and marketplace. Our value add is our network. So in our network, we have 70,000 trading partners, customers that all have reusable connections. And this gives our customers the ability to recruit new retailers, new customers, really allow them to scale and grow into different fulfillment models. It also allows our customers to take full access or advantage of their ERP system. In this situation, it's Dynamics GP, as well as they have access to our 24/7, 365 operations and support. Our solution is an end-to-end solution. Today, we're specifically talking about EDI. So we do EDI end-to-end. So let's talk a little bit about EDI and what goes into EDI. So there's a couple of different things. I am having problems advancing slides. There's a couple of different things with EDI. No matter each EDI, you're going to have an EDI technology. There's 4 different components to it. It's connectivity, your mapping, and then it's going to be integration, and then how that looks. So no matter if you go with an SPS solution or you go to a provider, these are 4 things that need to be done with EDI, and it's a lot. So first of all, you need to connect to your trading partner, and that could be a VAN or an FTP. Then you're going to need to map and translate each one of your documents, and then do the integration. Again, we do all of this. In addition to, we do the testing, and this can be the biggest problem for some of the end users, is contacting EDI coordinators, testing all the documents, and then it's very time consuming. We have a department at SPS Commerce, and they have contacts with these EDI coordinators because we do a number of testing, and then we also do all of the mapping changes. So it's very easy for us. So that's a little bit about EDI technology, which goes into it. SPS's solution is really more of an EDI department. So we take the technology and we provide all the resources behind it. So what that looks like, let's say that, I'm trying to advance the slide. Let's say that you have a warehouse and that your orders are not going out on the 3PL. What happens if you're with another provider, your orders won't ship on time, and then you'll have to dig into the contact and contact the 3PL and do the troubleshooting, and then eventually there are typically chargebacks. With a fully managed solution with SPS's, we monitor it, so we get notified with an exception, and then we reach out to the 3PL and resolve it, and then your orders ship on time. So what it means for our customers is they don't need to have someone on staff to do all of the EDI support and changes. And with that, that's a little bit about SPS. I am going to hand it back over to Maggie.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. This is just an outline of our agenda for today. I'm going to go over some of the inventory functions in SalesPad. Just looking at some of the inventory by site or serial and lot views. We're also going to make our way into the order entry functions in SalesPad, where we can view some of the inventory functions within that order entry process. We're also going to see how workflow plays into managing the inventory as well. And we're going to tie it all up with the EDI integration. So a little bit on the inventory side first, and then a little bit into the EDI integration right after that. So without further ado, I will go ahead and start the demo. Definitely feel free to ask questions in the chat box, and I will go ahead and start with that. So a lot of the inventory management in SalesPad happens from the inventory lookup screen. So that's where we're going to start today. If I click on my module here, it'll bring me to my inventory lookup screen. It'll pull up all of my items if I just do a blank search, which is what I'm going to do. I'll just do a blank search here. And this will pull up all of my items that I have currently in my system. When I say that these items are in my system, I do mean that these are the items that are pulling over from GP. If I create a new item in SalesPad, that item will automatically be created in GP, and if I create a new item in GP, that item will be here available to be used in SalesPad. So everything happens in real time. We don't have to worry about the two products syncing at all. They all write back and forth to the same tables. So what you're seeing here is the same thing that you would see in GP. This is just giving you a little bit more functionality as far as being able to view some of those different inventory options. So again, this is our inventory lookup module. I did a blank search on all of my inventory in SalesPad. If I wanted to view something specific, I can use my auto filter row here to view things like if I wanted to see my availability above a certain amount, or if I wanted to see my on-hand availability, or maybe I wanted to sort on my back-ordered quantities. I can use my SalesPad grid here to view all of that information. I can also narrow down my searches as well. So if I didn't really care to see my item type, I can click it and drag it away. If I didn't care to see my item class, same thing. I can click it and drag it away. But I can also add some other columns back into my inventory lookup to make this a little bit more robust. I can do that by right-clicking in any of the column headers, going to my column chooser, and it'll pull up my customization pane. So I can pull in, for instance, my current costs. I can pull in items that are inactive. I can pull my item class back in. So I do have some configurability to that, to the screen here, and that is based on the user. So my inventory lookup screen might look a lot different than the SalesPad user sitting next to me. If I wanted to view my inventory by site, all I have to do is highlight a specific item that I'm searching for, and down here at the bottom, this will show me all of my inventory by site. So under the inventory tab, I have all of my different locations, and I can see what I have on hand, what's allocated, if there's anything back ordered, what's on order, and also my next expected receipt date. If you are in a multi-bin environment, this area over here to the right will also populate with the bins that this item is in. Otherwise, if you're not in a multi-bin environment, it will just look like this. What's nice about this inventory tab here is that if we highlight a specific warehouse or location where this item is assigned to, and we have some inventory allocated, we can click on that allocation, and it'll pull up this inventory allocation screen where I can see all of the documents that this inventory is allocated to. So that's one of the key features here. What's nice about the inventory lookup screen as well is that it's pulling information from a lot of different places in GP and putting it in one place in SalesPad. So you can use these screens as sort of these built-in reports. You can save your filters. So if I wanted to look up all of my U of M's, for instance, that are eaches, I can just start typing in here using my auto filter row. And now this is searching for all of my items with the U of M schedule of each. If I'm always looking for the same things over and over again, I can click this little drop down here and I can save my filters so that the next day when I log into SalesPad and I want to view what's going on with my inventory, I can apply my saved filters. And again, that's by user. So if you have specific filters that you're viewing on a daily basis, that would be assigned just to you. And then the person sitting next to you might have something completely different that they're searching for every day. We can also utilize this auto filter row a little bit more just by filtering down. So we can have more than one filter on here. So if I wanted to see, I'm viewing all of my U of M schedules of each, but now I want to view my item classes of retail on top of that. I'm just narrowing down my search fields a little bit more. So we went over the inventory by site here, just based on the items that you have highlighted. So if I go through my items here, I can see that my information is going to change on my inventory tab. So again, you have all of this information on the same screen. You can also view your item properties from here as well. So if I go to my properties tab, I can view all of my item information. I can also have a little bit of a view here on my quantities. So it's kind of a little bit more of a watered down version of my inventory tab. And then I can also see any sales or purchases around the specific item. So if I pull up, for instance, I'll look at my 100 XLG. I can see here under my sales tab all of the sales documents associated with that 100 XLG. So any sales document out there with that 100 XLG on it. I can also view all the purchase orders with that 100 XLG on it. And I can narrow it down by the last couple of months, or in this case, I'm showing the last couple of years. If it is a serial or a lot tracked item, I can go to my serial/lot numbers tab here. I can give myself a little bit more real estate. To the left here, I have all of my serial numbers. So if your item is serial or lot tracked, it'll have that hyperlink. And we can also view the locations of those serial or lot numbers, the costs associated with them. If you're in a multi-bin environment, we'll see which bin that is assigned to. And then any quantities as well. If that serial or lot number is associated with a sales document, we can also see that sales document here. And anything in SalesPad that is blue and underlined is a hyperlink. So if I wanted to drill into the sales document that specific serial number for that item is attached to, I can just click on that link and it'll take me to my sales doc. So we can see here that we have some outstanding serial numbers that have not yet been assigned to any sales docs. So those are just a couple of key features on the inventory side. So being able to manage the inventory and see a lot of information around the inventory. We do have a lot of other tabs here, and I won't go through all of those today, but I just wanted to touch on a few of the searching functions within the item inventory lookup screen. It's not the only thing that we have in SalesPad that allows you to manage your inventory. In fact, if we click on the inventory tab up here at the top, we have a multitude of modules in SalesPad that allow you to do a lot more with your inventory. One of these that I always like to touch on is the inventory analysis module. If I click on that, it'll be blank until I either put in an item number or a class, or I'm just going to do a blank search again. And what this built-in report allows us to do is it's looking at a specified number of months. I've picked the last 6 months, but if you wanted to look at the last year or the last month, you can choose that. And what this is doing is this is showing us the averages over the last amount of months that you've picked. This is showing us the sales for the last few months. So if your company is seasonal, this is something that might be really helpful for you. Otherwise, we can also just see usages over the last few months based on all of the sales averages. So this also will act as sort of another inventory lookup screen. So we still have all of those same tabs that we saw on the last screen, but now we have that built-in report up here as well. So if we wanted to narrow it down by inventory location, we can see the inventory locations down here at the same time. So those are just some of the key functions for managing your inventory or being able to view some of the inventory features in SalesPad. Again, it's bringing a lot of those different modules from GP and putting it into the same place. So you don't have to open a lot of other different windows to find that information. You'll see a lot of that information in SalesPad. Next, I'm going to hop over to order entry and talk about inventory control within the order entry process. Order entry in SalesPad happens from the customer card. So I'm going to pull up a customer here, and I'm just going to do a blank search, pull up all of my customers that I currently have in GP. And I'm going to open up my Aaron Fitz Electrical customer card. So within the customer card, we do have a view of all of the open sales documents for this particular customer. In order to create a brand new document, we have the option to create our quotes, orders, invoices, or returns from here. And this is based on the document ID that you currently have set up in GP. So one of the things that I want to show today is how to manage back orders. So let's say that we want to create just a standard order here. So I click on my standard order button, and this will bring me into my order entry screen. If I click on new, I can put in a new item here. If I don't know my item, I can always click on my ellipsis here, and this will bring up that same inventory lookup screen that we were looking at before. So we can always search for our item here and expand this window. But if we happen to know our item number off the top of our head, we can go ahead and just type it in as well. So I'll put in my 128 SD RAM. And it's going to highlight a specific color. So we do have some settings around that if you wanted to put this in red or any kind of other color. So mine's turning yellow if it happens to be back ordered. And then once I save the document, it'll assign a document number for me. And it will also, so it's now 2334, order number 2334. And it'll also turn my, my line red here. So I can see that I have a back ordered quantity of 1. Now, workflow in SalesPad is kind of the backbone to our order entry process. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we can utilize workflow once we get into the EDI process. But my current workflow right now is set up so that if I have a back ordered line item on a document, I want this document to go into a back order queue. Before I send it to the next queue, and let's say I'm a CSR and or a sales rep, and I am creating my order here, if it highlights red and I have a back order quantity here, I want to see how many I might have available. So if I have my item highlighted here, I can see on this screen that I have -29 available. So that is giving me a view into that specific item and the availability there. We also have a built-in plugin called Sales Line Availability. And so if I click on that, it's telling me that in my main warehouse location, which is where I'm trying to fulfill this from, I have -29 available. So that's why I have back ordered quantity. If I have inventory in other locations, I can scroll through all of my locations and see my inventory. For this particular item, I only have this item in a warehouse location, so it's going to pull up those quantities right from the beginning for me. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I'm going to forward my document. And forwarding my document is going to put it into a new queue. So again, workflow is kind of the backbone to our order entry process. It takes a lot of that manual moving of documents to different batches and queues out of the mix so that anybody can just create your order, and then the system will check any rules, or it'll check any of your back orders or splitting of the documents or fulfillment sites automatically for you. So I clicked forward, and it's telling me that back order evaluated true, so it's moving it into the back order queue. So as a CSR, then I can just go ahead and start creating some more orders. It's going to be somebody else that might take care of anything that's in the back order queue. It might be somebody on the purchasing team or somebody in the purchasing department. One way to manage those documents in those specified queues is to use our sales monitor. Our sales monitor here is a really nice tool that allows us to view all of those documents in those different queues. So just depending on how you have your workflow set up, you can see all of the different queues, and this I have mine set up to refresh every 30 seconds, but you can also refresh it manually or every 1 or 5 minutes. On the left here, we have all of the workflow queues or batches for my particular documents. Now you might notice that I have some that are specified for EDI and others that are not. So the document that I just created is just a standard document. Customer could have called and placed the order or sent an email. or perhaps through an e-commerce integration, that document was created automatically. And I just have that in a new order queue, then moving it into a back order queue. So I can see here that within my back order batch, I have my order that I just created, order number 2334, and it also has a back order status. So the whole thing is back ordered, and that's the status that I can see here. So that's one way to manage that, is to use our workflow and set up the workflow depending on your current business processes, and be able to view, refreshing every 30 seconds, where all of those documents are in your current process. I do want to show you another example too of how we can use workflow to split our documents. And I'm going to do that by creating another document here. So I'm going to go back to my Aaron Fitz Electrical. And I'm going to create another document. And on this document, I'm going to put a line item that we have available. So I'm going to throw my 100 XLG in here. And then I'm going to also throw in an item that happens to not be available. So 128 SD RAM. So I have a couple of items on here. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And my 100 SD RAM, I know, my 128 SD RAM, I know is not available. Again, it's throwing not only a number into my back order column, but it's also turning red. I can see my availability here. And if I look at my sales line availability, I can see that for my 100 XLG green phone, I have 397 available, but again, for my 128 SD RAM, I don't have any available. So then at this point, I can have a workflow set up to split my document. I can split it by the back order amount, or since I might have some availability somewhere else, I can always choose my warehouse location where I do have availability. So going back into our sales line availability plugin, if I look at my 128 SD RAM, and I can go through all of my locations here. Well, it turns out I have 51,000 available in my north location. So maybe I want to fulfill it from my north warehouse instead. What we can do is we can choose on the line level how to add the north location into the sales line. So I'll go ahead and save this now. And because I chose my north location, we should be able to have it allocate, which it just allocated here. And now we can see the availability of the just over 51,000. At this point, I can forward it. And since we are fulfilling this document from 2 different locations, I can click forward. And what it will do is it will either automatically split for me, or we can have it manually split. So this is pulling up my splitting document plugin. I'm splitting it by the warehouse. So this is going to create an order number 0.1 and an order number 0.2. So they're going to be fulfilled from 2 different locations. So I'll click OK. And so they're both going to move into a ready-to-pick queue. That ready-to-pick queue we can see here in Sales Monitor. And if we go to our ready-to-pick queue here, now we can see the 2 documents that I've just created. We can filter the results based on the warehouse as well. So if we wanted to view just the North Warehouse ready-to-pick queue, we can view that on here. So there are some ways to filter down on that as well. So I'm going to open up my document here for my 0.1. This has my 100 XLG on it. This particular item is a serial or lot tracked item. And for that reason, I can fulfill it from a warehouse management system, or I can fulfill it using our SalesPad data collection, or I can even fulfill it straight from SalesPad desktop here. So we do have the option to fulfill it here. So if I click on the fulfillment, this will pull up all of my serial numbers for this particular item. And I can just either double click, or I can click the arrow and it'll fulfill from that particular serial number. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And now I can see that my quantity fulfilled is 1, and it is fulfilled to that particular serial number. So those are just a couple of different ways that we can manage the inventory from the order entry process. You might be wondering how we can do that utilizing EDI. And the process is going to be very similar. In my particular demo environment here, I do have a workflow designed around my EDI documents. And if I exit out of some of these here, and I go back into my sales monitor, I'm going to just view all of my EDI orders. So I'll just view my few different batches here that I have for EDI. And most of what happens with EDI is it's going to happen behind the scenes. We're going to see this refreshing every 30 seconds. So if you have multiple EDI documents coming in, Sales Monitor is going to be really helpful, because if you have your workflow set up so that your EDI documents are coming into a new EDI document batch, we're going to see all of those populating throughout the day. So we can see here, there happens to be an EDI document that came in today. It has my doc date of 4/12 on it. And I can just click on the hyperlink here to pull up my EDI document. So this particular customer ordered an HD20 from us, and at this point, we can use all of those same plugins. So we have the sales line availability. We know that we have 4 available in our warehouse location. That's great, because that happens to be where that particular document is coming from and mapping to. But we can always choose a different warehouse location if needed. And if this is something that is serial or lot tracked, then we can also use the fulfillment plugin as well. And as far as the EDI workflow, what's really nice about the EDI integration with SalesPad is that we do have the ability to send those EDI documents out automatically. And what I mean by that is we have plugins that are available in workflow, so that if we get an 850 or our PO into SalesPad that created this document here, we can go ahead and send the acknowledgement automatically. So if we want to acknowledge this particular document, we can click acknowledge here, and it'll send it on to the next queue. So whatever your workflow setup is, mine happens to be sending it into an EDI shipping queue. It's automatically sending that, that document, that EDI document, when I click on acknowledge. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that all of these things that I'm showing you as far as document by document can also be done in a sales batch. So if we wanted to pull up, for instance, so I have my sales batch processing module, I can pull up my new EDI doc. I can pull up that whole batch, and even though I only have 3 documents in it, I can choose 2, I can just choose 1, or I can choose all of them, and I can click forward. And clicking forward will use that same workflow rule in the process to send those acknowledgements. So you don't have to go into the document and send that acknowledgement every time. You can use sales batch processing to send those acknowledgements. So back in Sales Monitor here, I can see now that my document is now in my EDI shipping batch. So we can view this throughout the day, where my EDI documents are going. What some of our customers do is they will untab the Sales Monitor. So we can untab this window. And you might have this up on another screen. You can have it up on a screen in the warehouse or maybe on the sales floor, so you can see where all of your documents are going throughout the process. And it's especially helpful for EDI since you're not creating that document manually. That's coming in automatically throughout the day. So this is going to give you a really good view as to when and where your documents are coming from, and where you might have a pile up as well. So are they getting stuck in a shipping queue, or are they getting stuck in a ready to pick queue? Maybe you need more hands on deck in the warehouse. So this sales monitor is really going to help with the EDI side. So I'll retab this window here. And if I wanted to go back into my EDI document, I will pull up the EDI document here. And at this point, it is ready for shipping. So we can always create our package from SalesPad. We can do that by clicking on the shipment tab here. We will pull shipping weights from the item master. So if this particular item has a shipping weight attached to it, we will pull the shipping weights attached to that item. And we can also create our packages here. So creating the packages would allow us to pull those labels, and then we can send our ASN. A lot of this can also be automated. So I'm just going to put some numbers in here. Can be totally random, but I also do have my package templates. So am I sending this as a box, a case, a carton, or a pallet? It can be set up however you'd like to set it up. I'm just going to send it as a box. And as far as the package setup too, we can pull in the weights of those particular packages, our heights, widths, and lengths. And that's really all we would need at that point. We have our new package there, and let's go ahead and add our item to the package. Whatever we have on our current sales document, we'll pull into our package detail here. So we're going to pack 3 of these. We'll click OK. And from here, I can actually get my labels. So I have the Get Labels option. So if I click on that, it'll let me know if I'm missing anything. Otherwise, it'll tell me that my labels have been retrieved. And in a moment here, my labels will pop up. So we do have our labels that are available here. We can either send our ASN here, and as well as our 810 invoice. Otherwise, we can build it into the workflow so it is automated again. So I can click my Send ASN, and my document is going to go ahead and finish out and move into a Ready to Invoice queue. So this will pop up, and now it's telling me that my document has moved into my EDI Ready to Invoice queue. And then I can move on to the next document that I need to go ahead and ship. One thing that I want to note about this, so if I open up that same order again, I can go to my audit tab here, and I can see everything that's going on with this particular document. It came in automatically created using the 850 through the SPS integration. It saved my order automatically. There's only 1 line item on it. None of them were back ordered, so I can also see that. We can see that the 855 acknowledgement was created and sent successfully. And then it moved it into an EDI shipping queue. We can also see that the label request was created, and it was eventually moved into the EDI Ready to Invoice queue. So you always have that availability, or I guess that visibility of of where the document is moving to on the document level. Again, Sales Monitor is going to be something that's going to be really useful for EDI as well. And that ties into the inventory management as well, because we do have the availability to create those workflow rules in EDI to split those documents automatically, or to move those documents into an EDI backorder queue. So all of your inventory can also be managed at the same time. So that's kind of the EDI process there. We do have the EDI processing module. This module is a nice tool to have as well, because we have the visibility to see if we had any documents that needed validation, or we can see the sent or processed status of those documents. So this is the EDI document that I was just sending out. And we also have access to the raw data file there as well. So you do have access to a lot of that, the visibility into what's going on with the EDI processing. And it also tells us which documents were sent out at the same time. So that's kind of it. I wanted to wrap it up there. We went over a lot of the inventory management tools and how the EDI integration can tie into that using workflow and using the sales monitor. I will wrap it up there, but if there are any questions, feel free to let us know. And that is about it.
Yep, and it looks like there are a couple questions, and it looks like both of them are around kind of handholds and barcoding. So I'll just read you the first one from Peter Vicari. Can you mention what functionality is available on handhelds as you go through the different screens? So that was kind of midway through the presentation he asked that. But if you can go into kind of handheld functionality a bit, maybe high level, what can that can accomplish?
Sure, yeah. So we have something called data collection in SalesPad. It is our warehouse management tool. If you use data collection with SalesPad, it does build into our workflow, so that if you have documents in a ready-to-pick batch, you can use our scanning function on your mobile devices to pull up all of those documents in a ready-to-pick batch. You can go and pick those documents, and then after that entire document is picked, it automatically moves into the next queue, which could be something like ready to ship. So we do have that integration with our data collection tool with SalesPad. That's kind of the high level overview. If you are using a different WMS system with SalesPad, we can still, depending on the system, we can still see some of those batches, and you can pick those documents using your WMS tool, and then you would just log back into SalesPad and move those documents into the next queue. So a lot of that is set up or built into workflow with SalesPad.
Yep. And then the next question kind of goes off that barcoding. It says, we are implementing inventory barcoding. How could this enhance barcoding?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, so we can automatically print pick tickets. That's one of the nice key features with using workflow in SalesPad. So when you're moving a document from a new order batch into a ready to pick batch, you can have that workflow rule automatically print that pick ticket in the warehouse. That's one way on the outbound side. On the inbound side, we also do have a receiving module in SalesPad. I didn't cover it today, but if you are receiving using your WMS system, you can have that also, depending on the WMS system you're using, integrate into SalesPad. Otherwise, you could also, if you're just starting the process, you could also use data collection for the receiving side as well. So kind of just depends on the products that you're using for that, but we can integrate with just about any WMS system out there. Just depends on what you're using, depends on how you want it to integrate, and we can get our custom team to look at those types of integrations if it's outside of data collection.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think we have one more, and this may be a question we take offline with an FMT or an account executive or FMT, but it says, we are about to have FMT implement Dynamics 365 CRM and possibly the inventory management portion. How does this compare?
That's a really good question.
and that may be one we take offline and kind of have that individualized conversation with you, Matthew, over at CBIS with kind of an AE over at FMT, and they can kind of do that comparative for you. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. If you do have any further questions, we will be following up with all the attendees. So feel free to ask at that time. We truly appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to join us, and we hope to see you at all our future events and webinars. And we look forward to seeing you. Have a great day, everyone.